Hello everyone, welcome back to yet another video. In the last videos, we have discussed more about for loop, while loop, right? So in this video, we'll be starting with data structures in Python like lists, tuples, dictionaries, sets, frozen sets, etc. Right? Uh, we'll be discussing more about the operations of these data structures and the structure and how we have to use these data structures and all. So don't worry about the things and syntaxes. We'll be discussing each and everything. So that's the thing about today. So let's get started with Python list. So the sequences of various data types is stored in a list. In Python, we have the data types, right? We'll be having several data types like int, float, char, and etc. Right? So each and every data type or various data types will be stored in a sequence. Okay, that's the thing about list. A list is a collection of different kind of values. Collection of different data types in a sequential manner. So list is a collection of different data types or various data types which is in a sequential manner, right? So we have to note another point about list. Python lists are mutable. That means the values in this list can be changed. If you want to change the items or the data in the list, you can easily change it. Okay, and each and every sequence we have mentioned, we will be having different data types, right? We can use as many data types or data in our list using a separator called comma. Using a comma, you can separate each and every data type. Using comma, we can separate each and every data type, right? So we'll be seeing the syntax for now. The declaration of a list will be like this. You have to use square brackets, and then if you want to use a string, let's say man comma 1 comma 6.5 comma 8, right? Let's say this is a list, right? We'll be having a sequence of different data types, a collection of data types which are in different data types, right? This is a string, this is an integer, this is a float, right? We are having various data types within a single list, right? This is nothing but a list. So let's take an example. Let me clear this. Suppose we have a variable called list1 is equal to it containing 1, 2, Python, and then let's say value called 14.3, right? What I have done is I have taken a variable and I have created a list of various data types with some data, right? With different types of data, we can place whatever data type we need. So there is no rule about containing same data type or similar data type within a list. There is no rule like that. Okay, if you want, you can do that, but you can have more data types, various data types in a single list, right? If you want to just print it, what we have to do is print the list 1. If you want to see the print list what you have created, you have to print it, right? So if you run this, you'll be getting the output with the list values, right? If you want to check the type of the list, you can simply add it type of, let's assume type of this particular list. If you run this, you'll be getting class list, right? This is the sort of thing you have to know. The syntax is simple. You have to use square brackets, and then within the square brackets, for each and every value, you have to separate each and every value, right? So you have to use comma, and you can use whatever kind of whatever maybe the data, you can use it, right? This is the thing about list. So if you mention about the characteristics of list, there are some characteristics. They are, the lists are in order, right? List is in an order, and then the elements, whatever elements we have, elements in the sense the data which we are using, right? The elements can be accessed by the index. By using the indexing, you can access the elements. The elements are accessed by using index, right? List is mutable. Mutable in the sense the values in the list can be changed. If suppose I have taken the list value as 1, right here, the first value is 1. I can change it, I can alter the value to 10 for further. In further modifications, I can alterate the value. So that's the thing about mutable and immutable. Immutable in the sense it can't be changed. The value is once declared, it can't be changed. Like in other programming languages like C, we'll be having a constant variable, right? If you use a constant value, it will be the same throughout the entire program, right? Likewise, we'll be having mutable and immutable types. Here in mutable types, we can change the value whatever required value we have, and if it is immutable, like tuples are immutable. So we'll be discussing about the immutable concept in tuples while discussing about tuples, right? So here mutable in the sense the values can be changed. Whatever may be the value, you can change it simply. So that's the thing about the mutable and immutable thing. So, and the last point but not the least, list can contain various data types, right? Whatever may be the data, we can use it within a list, right? So these are the several characteristics about the list. Okay, let's see how to perform some operations over list, and we'll be digging deeper in the further videos. In the next video, we'll be covering more about the operations, but just for an instance, just understand how to create a list, how to check the type of the list, and what are the some basic operations, or how to access the index. Okay, let me clear this. Let's assume we have a list 2 is equal to I'll be explaining about index, right? 23 Python, and then 7.5, and then 4.8, right? We are having some different values, right? Here I have talked about index, right? Index will be starting from 0, 1, and then 2, and then finally 3. So the value 23 is in the index position of 0. The starting position in Python index will be from the left hand to right hand. We will be covering with 0. We'll be starting with 0, and then the second value is 1 in the index of 1. And the third value is in the index of 2, whereas the fourth value is in the index of 3. So the position minus 1 will be the index value. If the value is in position of 2, minus 1 will be the index value. Okay, this is the positive indexing. We will be discussing about the positive indexing and negative indexing in the further concepts. Don't worry about it. While accessing the lists, various lists, we will be discussing about the positive and negative indexing furthermore clearly. So this is the thing. This is the thing about positive indexing. Here we are having from 0, we'll be starting with 0, and 1 will be the second position. The third position will be the index value of 2, and the fourth position will be the index value of 3, right? So this is the thing about positive indexing. So likewise, if you are accessing index of 1, you will be getting the output as Python. If you are accessing the index of 2, you will be getting the value of 7.5. Let's assume the index value, if you want to access the list value of 2 with the index of 3. If you run this, let me print it first. If you run this, you will be getting the value as 4.8 because we have used the value, the index value is 3. If you change the index value to 0, you will be getting the starting value. If you run this again, you will be getting 23. Why? Because we have used the starting value as 0 for the index. So I accessed the 0 index of the list 2, right? Data which is present at the index value 0 will be printed for me. So if I use 1 as an index value, the second position in the list will be printed. So Python is printed in the output if I access the value of index 1, because index 1 is the position of second value, right? So that's the thing about the accessing through indexes. So if you want to change the values, like I have also mentioned about the mutable types, right? If I want to change the value, one of the value, like let's say the position of second index, I want to change if you check the second index 1 0 1 2, so this index 2 will be 7.5, right? So if I mention it as 8.9 and then print the list of what we are having, you can see the list now. See, we are having 23 Python 7.5 and 4.8, but here in the output we got 23 Python 8.9 and 4.8. So what we are doing is we have changed the index value, like whatever may be the value which is present in the index of 2, we are assigning it newly as 8.9. So the value 8.9 will be stored from now in the place of 7.5. So the value is changed. We can change the value by accessing the indexes, right? So that's the thing about mutable thing. If you do the same with tuples, we'll be discussing about the tuples, don't worry. If, for instance, if you change the value likewise in tuples, it won't accept. It will be giving an error for us. So that's the thing about the mutable and immutable concepts. In the upcoming video, we'll be discussing about the positive indexing and negative indexing, and furthermore some of the operations we'll perform on list, right? So that's all for the video. Thanks for watching.